And we're live. This is the Nifty Alpha. I'm Pio. I'm here with my co-host Nifty Nick and the artist formerly known as the Sophisticated Art Speculator, now known as Captain Kix.eth. And this is the Market and Trade Talk show where today we will be discussing when to sell your NFTs. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and comment, and join our Discord. Gentlemen, when is the best time to sell your NFTs?
The literal top.
Yeah, that is objectively the answer. There you go. Show done. Let's take a hike because that's it,
guys.
That was it. Good job, dude.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it. You sell the NFTs at the top. See you guys later.
Oh, that was the perfect video. So let's actually discuss it. Man, that is so good though. So maybe the context of why we're discussing this is how we actually where this came from was there was some selling action yesterday. And I got buying. There was a lot of buying and a lot of selling. Selling on my part, buying from the market, me selling at the beginning of a bull run. Potentially in the NFT space is what I feel like.
We don't know.
It's last night, but I'm looking at my bag saying, I'm trading e-liquid JPEGs, and if there's action on any of this, literally any of this right now, fuck it. Like just to get rid of my non-biggest winners.
Yeah, great time to exit some things maybe you don't have the highest conviction in.
Yep. And so there's just been a number of things happening that have made me say what is going on here? And so I sold out of, someone said Deadfellas. Deadfellas one that I sold. What was the Impact Theory? Sold it. I sold by the way,
two of those.
Oh my God, Baby Apes at 0.65. What the heck? That's just making me so angry. Because last night in our Discord, someone shared 0.02, buy it now. And I was like,
oh, now be in our Discord.
I was like, oh, now it's 0.06. There's no way this is going any higher.
See, here's the thing is I've decided that I'm just going to focus on high conviction plays, not the pump and dumps. I'm happy for everyone that's made money from it. This is my most exciting thing of a bull run. And this is how I made a lot of money to a certain point, was just getting in and flipping these. Now I feel a lot more relaxed just getting my money in on good projects where I don't have to worry. Is it going to go up to 1? Is it going to go down to 0.3? I think it's a cool project. I think the art was fairly well done. Just for me personally, I'm not going to have a midget as my profile pic. So
I may have been politically incorrect there.
But baby midget. Look at that thing. Like, how do you even? How hard do you have to zoom in even to make that identifiable on a profile pic? You gotta get in hard zoom on that. Look at that.
Oh my God.
These little midget. They're midget apes. Look at that.
That word is no longer
you can't say midget?
utilized. No,
I didn't know that. No one let me know that. This is my first time hearing that. I thought that was totally fine.
So this is a cute
little
baby
people?
ape, is what I'm saying.
Little people.
Okay, little people. My bad. I didn't know. I don't watch enough fucking TLC apparently.
Well, it's not on TLC, but yeah, in terms of this NFT, I mean, to be fair, they're cute, but
my whole thing is I would have definitely minted these if I saw the mint on them. 0.02. Apes are hot right now. Any type of ape project's hot right now. So I would 100% minted these. That's what I'm saying. I'm not changing on that, but no longer am I FOMO buying secondary on things that I can't quantify their actual long-term value. Like I look at this thing and I said, this thing could meme up to a 2. It could also just fall out of flavor 5 days from now and just slow fade down to a 0.2. And I don't really want to deal with that. Now, this was a perfect mint and flip. Yesterday, if I saw this yesterday, I would have thrown in an ETH of that thing, have 50 little apes running around, little zoo, little people apes, and just sell the bejesus out of
babies.
them.
They're babies.
Little baby eats. Looks pretty advanced to me.
That is true. It's an aggressive one. But in terms of one thing I just want to shout out, Merrick, who's hating on our thumbnails, the literal point of those thumbnails is they're almost a joke at YouTube thumbnails. So if you're not in on the joke, but you clicked it, like that's the whole point of it.
You clicked it, buddy. You
When you
clicked it.
clicked it, that's what happened. So yeah, I'm not in Lil Baby Ape Club. Am I mad? Yes. Did I miss out on a 10xer? Yes. Am I going to
50xer, dude?
Am I going to throw my chair against the wall? Cool. Probably. That one looks absolutely dope, and I'm furious. But here's the thing: did this even come from someone that owns an ape?
Yeah, but the art is all different. It didn't.
Well, it's not
except for the skin.
They literally that ear is the Bored Ape ear.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the clothing. Sorry, the accessories.
Yeah, that one looks new.
They did take the some of the skins though. Like I saw like one of like the rainbow hippie skins. They did take one of those skins.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're talking about selling. This video is about selling, and we just went into one that we wish we were buying.
Quick little digression. But yeah, so let's reset the room.
Let's talk about the sales. Let's go to the actual sales. What were we selling and why? And then let's actually go into maybe some strategies as to when we actually sell.
Let's do it.
So recent sales. We can go through a few of these, what people were selling, and I'll tell you the sales that I made yesterday, and we can go around the room and discuss what we've sold in the past week, and then we can discuss some of the why behind some of these things. My recent sales were literally ones that I've lost money on. The vast majority of them were ones that I've lost money on, including Deadfellas, which I bought the top. I can reset my cost basis at this point and take a loss. So my thought is with Deadfellas, my sale there is I'm thinking this goes down to 0.5 at some point. If we have another ETH bull run here, this could be sitting at 0.5, 0.4, 0.3 even. And then I'm going to buy back in. Wappy's laughing at that. I don't care. Other things that I've done. Other things that I sold.
Lupify?
Most of the stuff that you saw on it, I didn't sell Lupify. This project is called Treeverse, but stand by for a sec. Stoned Ape Saturn Club, sold some. Habbo Avatars, sold it.
People are buying Stoned Ape Saturn Club? Like it is something that's not worth zero?
I sold it for 0.01. Treeverse, sold it. Dirty Bird Flight Club, sold it. Lonely Frog Lambo Club, sold it. Goop Troop, sold it. Not Fungible Bones, sold. One Wonky Stonk. And Impact Theory, sold that. The Relentless Key, 2 of them sold. That's what I've sold at this point. So I sold those individual items. The reality is, Wappy, there is no Halloween pump here. And
2022 he's talking about.
I wanted to take some of those losses. And so just because I've made so much money that I thought now's a good time to maybe offset some of those with some losses, get some ETH back in my wallet, get ready to.
You owned one of these?
Get ready, 2 of them.
Like the Simpsons?
I still own one of them. And their community was very active in our Discord, and I'm still a believer in them, but I like taking losses. And when I see when there's that much FUD and activity in a space and it hasn't been moving.
0.0179. Would you get like a steak dinner out of that thing?
Dude, I don't even know what I sold, but Treeverse sold that at like 1.89, I think, because the floor is at 1.9, so I just sold it right there.
Good sell.
And so maybe this goes up to 2.5. I don't know, but I'll tell you the story with Treeverse real quick. Well, let me just stop by saying that those were my sales, and then we can actually maybe go around and discuss our whys behind some of these things. Founders Plot, different why than the other whys that I have. This one's a gain. I bought this at 0.11. So
wow, very nice.
That's a nice gain. But in terms of Captain Kix, PO here, did you guys sell anything over the past week?
Kix?
I'll kick to you first.
You'll Kix down?
Sure. So I sold one dead fella yesterday at yesterday's local top of 0.97. I owned 2 dead fellas. I bought one at 0.1 ETH and one at 0.17 ETH. So I sold one at 0.97. That was the first dead fella that I've sold. Or maybe I actually sold one very, very early that I bought at like 0.1 and sold at 0.3. That kind of feels vaguely familiar. The reason I did that is because I've gone on record. I don't need to beat a dead horse. I think that Bitcoin and ETH are going to absolutely shred into Q1 and Q2. And I think that prices against ETH will be affected on NFTs. So like Nick said, I will buy back into dead fellas. I have incredibly high conviction in the project, and I'm not selling my other one unless we see another leg up on this NFT bull run where all of a sudden my other dead fella is, 1.5 to ETH floor. Then I will also sell that one, and I'll wait to buy back in at a cheaper price. That strategy is very risky and I might get burned doing it, but that's what I'm going to do. And what Nick is talking about, like when he's talking about selling for a loss for tax loss harvesting, that's because there's something in like the securities and equities world called the wash rule, where let's say Tesla corrects by 30%, I can't sell my Tesla stock for a 30% loss right there and then immediately buy back in. I have to wait 30 days before I accumulate a new position in order to get the tax loss benefits. But that doesn't apply actually even to Bitcoin or crypto yet. I think this will probably be the last year that doesn't apply to that. I'm not a CPA. Don't test me on that, but it definitely doesn't apply to NFTs for sure, because these are collectibles. And if I buy back into dead fellas, I could buy a totally different one than the one that I owned. So that's something to definitely think about, is like if you have high conviction in a project, for example, the Smiles verse that I bought the top of at 0.85 the other day,
Classic.
at the end of this year, if it's sitting at 0.15, I can absolutely sell that one for 0.14, lock in the loss, and just immediately buy back in. And it would benefit the hell out of me from a tax perspective because it would offset a lot of the gains that I've had. But enough tax stuff. I sold the dead fella. I sold a couple of Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory founders keys, and I sold. I have 4 more. I sold my last Wonky Stonk. Wonky Stonks is one of the most liquid NFTs that I've been in recent memories. You list that thing, it just goes. Those things are trading all the time, and it's volatile. The floor is really volatile. So like it's basically been bouncing between 0.25 and 0.13 floor. You could have just been accumulating at 0.13, shipping it at 0.25. I know it's not crazy gains. I know you're paying gas. I know there's a royalty on that, but I'm just saying like there's opportunity to make a little bit of money there. And then if I sold anything else yesterday, no, I think that's about it. Those are the 3 things that I was offloading yesterday.
Well, yeah, I want to discuss in the why of some of those different projects which we sold out of. But Captain Kix, you got any sales?
Yep. 3 sales. I sold 3 different sandbox estates, just a slight trim on the way up. So that's something that we can talk about, is if you have high liquidity in a project or a token, selling on the way up is the way to do it versus trying to sell on the way down. I've very lightly trimmed my bags. I still have the significant portion, but I'm throwing some things into the ether. So I had some nice sales for like 3-4xers. Took a little money, got a little liquid. I can look for another play. But the sandbox momentum has continued to be absolutely phenomenal. So I'll probably just, lightly trim down maybe 10-20% of my lands on the way up and hold more for the long run.
I think this sandbox play could push through the end of the year. Is my general thought, and these airdrops and things like that. Like we haven't begun to actually see.
Exactly. We haven't seen a blow off top of like parabolic momentum.
Which there's definitely,
it's on the horizon.
Sandbox is the one right now. It just feels like the one.
I just watched a guy with $5 million in one wallet, and this wallet received all of its Ethereum 1,400 days ago and hasn't made a single move. Took 100 ETH out of that, threw it into a new wallet, created an OpenSea account called Double My Money, dropped 100 ETH on single plots of land from 1.7 to 1.9 ETH, listed all of them from 4 to 6 ETH each.
All right, I'm gonna buy a plot like right now.
I'm talking about it for 4 weeks, and now you're gonna buy.
Literally buying? No, Pio, do not buy a plot, please. We do not want you in this crew. We don't want you involved in this investment. We really like you, Pio, as a person, but we don't want you as part of this. Like this is literally, you're like the kiss of death to the top. I thought I was, but like No, like you're so consistently buying the top. We do not want this. We do not want this.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat.
Do not buy it.
Look at the
This is
chat.
one that I just do not want it.
It's like full on top alerts in the chat. Top signal.
This is not good. So someone also asked about.
Thank God I started trimming.
We'll get there at a certain point. Please, Pio. Please, like, maybe your consideration of it is a top sign. Shit, this is just a bad. Like, were you being sincere? You're ready to buy it?
I only have 1.56 ETH in the MetaMask, so I'd have to move ETH over from my treasure. So I think if you guys really don't want me to, I won't. No, I won't. If you really don't want me to,
for entertainment. But like, dude, we don't want this moment that the top got marked in. Man, I was enjoying this November run. We had apes looking good, my mutants looking good, my sandbox looking good, and I'm just holding. I want to double down on those good assets. Basically, I want great assets. And like,
Kix, is it too late to buy the token? Is the token over?
I think the token's a good play. Buy the token.
But for real,
at this price,
like the token's legit.
At least, see, the token's been consolidating in price for 2 weeks after its big run up, and with how much sand has the land has been moving, it wouldn't be surprising for me to see like another leg up in the sand token. I think that it is realistic that at one point in time we could get up to a 4 ETH floor on Sandbox land itself. The issue for me is that literally when I first called Sandbox land and said everyone buy, it was 0.5, and you're coming in now at almost 2. And I don't know when it's going to stop. There could be a parabolic move up, but I got plenty of land. Don't worry. You're going to have an estate, little PO estate on one of my 3x3 plots. You're good. Don't worry.
We'll make you a little doghouse that you can go sleep in at night.
All right. Now I'm buying an ass load.
I'll make you a virtual.
I'm converting all my Bitcoin into land now, and I'm going to tell everyone on Twitter about it, and all the whales are going to start dumping. That's what I'm going to do.
You already missed that. You were like, dude, you could basically swap your Bitcoin for an ape and then just call it a day and realize that you made the smartest decision ever. Because how many Bitcoin are there, Pio?
21 million.
How many apes are there?
10,000.
Yeah, so that math is really straightforward. I'm going to be honest. How many rappers are going to be walking around wearing a Bitcoin around their neck? They can't do that shit. But what they can is that photo of an ape. They're flexing that shit everywhere. I'm just telling you which one's going to be worth more. Well, it already is. Literally, one ape is worth over 3 Bitcoin at this point. Is basically.
I know. I'm aware.
And 1, 2, 3 is saying Bitcoin, it's crazy. No, this is the bottom line. If you bought into the thesis of Bitcoin and you don't buy into the thesis of Bored Apes, not going to make it. That's just the end of it. Okay. This is going to be worth. If one Bitcoin is going to go into 160,000, that means one ape. My thesis about it hitting $500,000 floor is so fucking spot on.
Just to summarize this little tangent that we went on, Nick told Pio not to buy a 1.8 ETH plot of land. Instead, he recommends he sells all of his Bitcoin into a Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Exactly, and that's smart. That's intelligent thinking, Pio. Don't mess up this mistake.
Well, guys, we're talking about buying here. Why don't we?
So let's talk about selling.
The selling. Why did you guys sell your stuff?
So let's go through what happened with each one of these sales. So let's first. We already discussed the tax losses. I think we know which one of those are tax losses in my sales here. Well, I'll actually tell you. There's 3 categories that we have here of sales. Stoned Ape Saturn Club, definitely tax loss. Just get it out of there. Don't care. Dirty Bird Flight Club, 0.01. Tax loss, get it out of there. The Lonely Frog Lambo Club, tax loss, get it out of there. Someone's knocking at my door, get out of there. So in terms of Goop Troop, tax loss, get it out of there. So we're going to move on to the next ones of which were not tax losses. You go to yours first. I'm going to see what's at my door.
Okay. Well, look, Deadfellas, right? I watched this one go up to 1.7, and I had two, one that I bought at 0.1 and one at 0.17. So that if I had sold that top, that would have been like a 3.4 ETH bag, but that was full euphoria bull run. And I was basically like, these things are going to 4 or 5 ETH. So I held, and then I watched them come all the way back down to a half ETH. Identical price action, by the way, with my peaceful groupies, both on the entry points, the quantity too, and the top, which was also 1.7, could have done the same thing. More conviction in Deadfellas than Peaceful Groupies for sure. Roadmap 2.0 on Deadfellas was the best roadmap that I saw, like Roadmap 2.0 at least that I saw. And the general like Deadfellas kind of passion in their community and the building and the, the creators, everything Deadfellas is good to me. I sold yesterday into a hype pump when they essentially doubled in a 24-hour period from a half ETH to 1 ETH just to lock in profits. And with the expectation of being able to buy it for cheaper in the future. So I'm super long, Deadfellas. I'm holding on to my one unless these rip to like a 2 ETH floor or 1.5 ETH floor. And I expect that I'll be able to buy them around a half ETH when ETH is much more expensive. So that's my little, my reasoning behind selling my Deadfellas.
Okay. I like that explanation. One thing is Whoppy. Can we get Whoppy out of the comments? That'd be great because he just keeps talking about these baby apes, and it's
Lil Baby Ape
ridiculous.
Club.
I'll throw Deadfellas. I agree with that sale. I sold mine because I saw the pump. Great. I lost 0.7 ETH. They're locked in 0.7 ETH. Yesterday, I probably sold off like 3 ETH of losses, basically, maybe 4, and that's great. And so I wish that it would have been, I wish I'd only won, but unfortunately I like dumping the losses, getting some ETH in my wallet. And one of the ones that I also included there, the second category is ones of which I'm not interested in holding for 5 years. And Treeverse and Impact Theory both fell into those two for 2 separate reasons. Treeverse apparently, so it's been pumping and they're about to do an avatar drop. And the avatar, Loopify was sharing sort of teasers of what the avatars look like. And I think they're cool. They're PFPs. We can actually, if you want, Pio, you can actually go over to Loopify's Twitter and check it out. I think the images look super cool. That said, I'm not like deep in the Treeverse community is the issue that I have right now. And now I want him to succeed. That said, he said, we need to sell these NFTs. I hopped in their Discord and they needed to sell the NFTs because they need more money and it's going to take years to develop. That was what he was essentially acknowledging. And so what we've seen is literally the amount of art that like, two artists could do when it came to the avatars, what I was looking at. And so that was a concern that I had. Maybe it's on the Treeverse account. I'm going to have to look it up. But essentially, I was thinking about it and I'm like, I just made, I went from 0.11 to 2 ETH essentially on a project that's not going to be delivered for 3 years. For 3 years. That was what was essentially communicated there was what I was hearing. And so once I heard that, I was like, uh-oh, like get me out of here.
Yeah.
And
sell the top.
And so check out their species. You can see their avatars there. They look great. The only thing that the only thing you can do though is you can only buy it if you own a Treeverse.
Wow. So good time to sell Treeverse probably because a lot of people are probably buying it to get access to this.
Maybe those avatars improved. Lego Batman saying 6+ months. I just heard he had said timeless. One thing we haven't discussed or Treeverse, sorry, maybe it wasn't Loopify. Treeverse says basically they were talking, whatever the message was, and I have to find out about where that thread was. But why they were doing it is because it costs a lot of money to build a game. And so they're going they're going to build this out. I mean, the art's looking dope.
Wait, so what were you saying here?
I was saying basically like I just don't want to be on this for 3 years.
On this game.
Yeah, because primarily I have so much game exposure. I have them, Pixel Vault, who's supposedly developing a game, all these other different projects.
I'm just confused because I thought that they were building like an RPG game called Treeverse. Is this related to Treeverse?
These are species that are being used so they can raise money.
So they've raised $8 million, but that's not enough to build a game properly, even though
and these are going to be
raised a fourth of that, and we have a game that's shipping every 2 weeks. I'm just trying to fully understand.
They're going to be selling at 0.22 ETH for each one of these.
That's the situation. So they have $8 million, but that's not enough to build a game, even though probably 90% of the games that are created around the world are built on less than an $8 million budget. So they need to do another raise to raise another $5 million to get you that game that they were promised.
They're selling 11,111 of these at 0.22 each, which is 2,444 ETH times the price of, let's call it 4,500. I'm being conservative. That's another 11 million.
So they need $20 million to build the game they're trying to build.
Exactly.
Interesting. Cool. Well, good luck, everyone.
I mean,
dude, JC Frosty just said, guys, go look at Lil Baby Ape Club. We know about Lil Baby Ape Club. We know about it, okay? But sorry, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're already familiar. Or another way that you would have caught it would have been in our Discord. So
maybe he's talking about the
place to be at, which is
going around.
The nifty.com/Discord is where you want to be. And you get on the whitelist for our drop, which you're going to want to be. And I'm going to be honest, we don't need $20 million to build our business. But like, I honestly do know that it costs a lot of money to build a business. So I understand that. But when I look back at, like, for example, Zynga's seed funding, I think that they had raised 2.5 million in seed funding back in 2014. And so that was really great. That was able to get them through an entire that was former developers. I read the wrong thing. I'm gonna have to look at when that went down, but it was a few $1 million basically, and they did that with Mark Pincus had essentially funded the development of a poker game, and that was how they ended up raising money. So basically, they raised money back in. I'm gonna have to find the.
Here's
this game doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I mean that's it. No comment. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't take $20 million to build a game of this quality. If this is the graphics, if this is the world, it doesn't take $20 million. I'm not talking shit. I mean, raise as much money as you can. By all means, like, go for it. But the thing is, when you're building a game, because I'm actively doing it, what goes into building a game? It is talent, labor. Your payroll is 90% of your expenses. You cannot scale up to a $2 million a year payroll efficiently to build a game in 3 or 6 months. So they can't even get up to spending $2 million a year on salary in 6 months. It's going to take, like, there's so many games out there that have generated hundreds of millions of dollars that cost less than $2 or $3 million to develop. I'm not trying to FUD this project or anything like that. I love what they're doing. I think that they're actually trying to build things. Just to me, to pay 0.22 for an avatar when they already launched land and made $3 to $5 million launching land, and then they already raised $5 million from VCs. I'm struggling to understand.
Is it from VCs?
Correct.
I wasn't familiar with that component of it as well.
They raised $3 million, not including secondary, off of the land.
I mean, I guess if
$5 million investment,
if you can, and here's what's happening right now. We're seeing a lot of people continue to issue NFTs and sell them and raise a lot of money, which is actually, if you can raise money non-dilutive into your business and just continue doing that indefinitely, Like, that's what you should be doing.
The thing is, though, is if you care about your reputation for 2 or 3 decades, if you raise $20 million and you don't deliver, I don't know what that does to your reputation. Maybe people won't care. But my point is that I'm seeing lots and lots of games that are raising an amount of money that I know that they can't deploy. So it means one or two things. It's sitting in a bank account, or it's getting paid out to the founders to make tens, millions of dollars off of raising money.
I don't want this to be like a Treeverse FUD game.
No, it's not. I'm just surprised. I thought that they raised a lot of money and they would be focused on building a game, not another mint. I'm surprised.
What was interesting about this
should be a free airdrop to the community.
This is representative of the broader ecosystem and some of the stuff that's happening, which is why I chose to sell out of this one. And it goes into a number of people are operating in similar ways where they're raising just an infinite amount of money without any clarity, without anybody knowing what happens. And I agree with X Fame to claim. I also agree that Loopify wants to genuinely build a game. We're all on the same page, I think, from that standpoint. And I don't think they're out here to steal money. No. The distinction is that like it's a high risk game. And in the crypto land, if you're able to raise 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 million, which some people, the fly is back. God damn it. The fucking fly. Oh my God. So if you're able to raise that much money,
go for
it.
Just me personally, if I'm raising money, I morally want to have a high confidence that I'm going to be able to generate a return. In my ethical realm, I feel strongly that if you're raising money, you should be doing it because you have a high degree of and I'm sure they have a high degree of confidence in it. Just me personally, I think some of these games don't need $20-30 million to actually build a game. And I think there's going to be a lot of traps out there, not saying this is one, but a current one going on is these metaverse traps where people hire two Unity graphic, like in-game designers that can build a cool visual looking world with no actual functionality built into it whatsoever. And then they use those 30-second cutscenes to sell you the cars in the metaverse and the houses in the metaverse and the characters in the metaverse. And then they raise tens of millions of dollars. And I'm not sure how many of these are going to work out, because how many other games out there have generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue? Well, there's two, Zed Run and Axie Infinity.
My main thought is that you have Kickstarter, where people used to do this to get money for games, and the amount that you would raise is like hundreds of thousands of dollars if you were really knocking it out of the park.
Like a 2 million raise was insane. Maybe one or two happened.
If you did that was like historical, basically, on the Kickstarter platform. Some entrepreneurs would do it for their product. We know some. There's other people who have sold stuff on for their games. And it feels very similar. The distinction is, and someone said best worst marketers. One of the problems is a lot of them suck at marketing. And I think there's a lot of people that are great at marketing. And crypto is one world where you can actually be rewarded exclusively for marketing. You don't need to actually develop anything. In fact, developing something is bad. Teasing things is great. And I think the art on Treeverse, for example, is great. Frankly, they've shown more than a lot of the other people in this space. Yes, as it applies to
I think they're going to build. I think they're going to build something. That's the thing. I think they actually want to build something. What I am just saying for me is that the economics of how much is being raised and the ability to deliver on that amount of money, I'm just seeing a trend in some areas where, like, I think you've heard of it, Nick. The term is overcapitalization. If you raise way too much than you need, you don't have the ability to deploy it efficiently. It can hurt. Someone said in the comments, M123, but I mean, won't crypto raiders need like $10 million eventually to scale over 3 to 5 years? Yes, we will need $10 million eventually to scale over 3 to 5 years, but our game currently generates over $1 million a year in revenue. We actually have a game that's generating revenue. So we don't need to come up with different things to mint every 4 weeks in order to generate, like, our game is actually generating revenue, and we have strong interest from investors. So if we need to scale up, we can just raise money via investors. We don't have to raise money via a mint and then try to figure out how we're going to keep the price of that mint thing inflated. Instead, we can focus on just actually building a game.
and you're taking measured at bats, which is the distinction between this and Treeverse is a swing for the fences thing. And you're basically saying, like, if you're swinging for the fences, though, then like this art should be popping out every day, literally, because these are like draft concepts from some like artist who's like on staff, essentially, who's basically just like, what are you doing today? Draw me another building. Like, give me a landscape. Like, we need more landscape
at some
art.
point. Yeah,
we need more buildings and we need people. So give me people, buildings, and landscapes. We need those three things. Let's continue developing those and post those out on Twitter. So yeah.
Yeah, once again, at the end of the day, that's what I believe. I think that you can build the foundation of a fantastic game with less than $1 million. And if you're trying to do something ambitious, you can do it with 2 to 3. Basically what I'm saying is that eventually a game should be able to monetize itself like Axie Infinity, where it's monetized by the game activity. And I think that the games that get there the quickest are going to be the games that succeed versus necessarily games that are really good at raising. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong. Once again, big fan of Loopify, big fan of Treeverse. I think that they're actually trying to build something great here.
Wow, that was the longest thing that we went on after we were talking about when to sell.
okay. It's okay.
Thanks.
When to sell the top.
which is and we're trying to guess when that top is. And in a world of NFTs, it's always very difficult to actually determine what that top is. And you get it, you feel it in your body, right? And sometimes down in your plums, and sometimes your feelings are correct, and sometimes your feelings are wrong. And the hard game here is knowing when to trust them and when not. Now, yesterday I sold these.
Yeah, and impact theory is another thing. And I think one of the reasons why you both are selling is because a month after this mint, they're doing another mint to raise more money, right? And that's kind of my point, right? Is like now you start kind of asking questions. You're like, well, like you just raised $80 million. Shouldn't we be able to execute whatever the vision for impact theory is off of $80 fucking million? Like OpenSea raised $80 million. You know what I mean? So we should be able to execute whatever we need to execute with this amount of money. And then a month later, there's another mint coming out to raise more money.
Yeah, it's a decent amount. It wasn't 80 million for impact theory, was it?
I think it was 40.
Oh, sorry, only 40. Never mind.
Sorry.
Only 40. My bad.
Theo, you want to talk about it because you were the one that brought this up, that actually your FUD, I was not even a big buyer into this before. I only bought 2 of these relentless keys because Pio was so strong on this. And to support a former podcast guest. But Pio, please share.
Well, first of all, if you bought it mint like we did, you had a chance to basically 2x. It went up to like 0.18, 0.19 floor. So Nick, you could have, sold the top there and you would have been in the money. I'm not closing my whole. Okay, well, there you go. I'm not closing my whole position on these. I'm selling some because I don't think it's necessary. I have 6 of them, so I don't think it's necessary. Well, now I've sold 2. I just don't think I need 6, And I think we're figuring out what the plan is. And I mean, the bottom line is the creator, Tom, like he's not going anywhere, right? He's going to keep working, keep building. But I don't know if I need to hold these right now at this floor. And I'm going to sell some right now and keep some. And maybe I'll buy more later or something. I don't know, but I want to see what happens and just see, this was always a long-term thing. It was never like a short-term thing. So we'll see what happens with this one. I'm selling a few. That's the bottom line. But I also had 6, so I had a lot.
Love it. Yeah, I think that was the situation with me as well, was simply the problem. I think I sold at 0.1. What is the floor there, Pio? We can't see those tiny numbers. It's hard to see it on the screen.
0.09.
But okay, so yeah, I think I sold it around that. I think we minted at 0.05, right?
You did. You waited to mint in the Dutch auction. I minted earlier in the Dutch than you did.
Got it. So yeah, you were really eager to dive into that one. So I went at 0.05 was what I got in at, and then sold at 0.095 or something like that yesterday, or 0.1 even. And so I felt pretty good about that. I doubled my money and got to feel good about it. So I was like, cool, 100% gain in under a month. I'm good with that. You can't complain about that. We're like, I'm wondering why there aren't more hedge fund people sitting in our comments. That's my question, because we're out here talking about just real gains, whereas they're just like making what, like 20% a year or something like that, and getting paid a shit ton of money to do that.
Hey Nick, can you hit the breaking news? Breaking news: Lil Baby Ape Club getting allegations of racism due to a newly found trait.
Is that really what happened? Now they're racist.
They have a clothing trait. It's one of the rare ones called skinhead, and the skinhead clothing trait.
Can we see? Is this offensive to look at? Can we see it?
No, the trait says monkey pride, and the suspenders are German colors.
Ooh, what?
I don't know. I think it's a stretch. I don't think that they really
German colored straps. I mean, that's hell of a coincidence. Let's pull it up.
So that was absolutely perfect. Pio, can you pull up? Please pull up the skinhead ape real quick there, Pio. Thanks. That'd be great.
So
get a zoom. You're good at zooming, so this is gonna work out great for you.
Where's the skinhead?
So
this is the skinhead.
So the skinhead trait is this shirt.
It's a German strap, but where's the skinhead? We'd like to see the
name of the trait.
Oh, it's the name.
It's the name of the shirt trait, which actually makes it way worse. Is that they named the shirt skinhead, called it monkey pride, and threw German suspenders on it. Did my camera go out?
That's not Jungle Freak's level of racism, but it's definitely on the scale. I'm not sure what part of the scale it is on, but why do that? You know, like who's in the meeting?
Like why do it?
Who's in the meeting? And like, you know, like there's, you know.
Yeah.
Did you have to do it?
Make the suspenders different colors and call the trait monkey pride, right? This is why you hire me for 4 ETH an hour. I'll come in, I'll take a look at your trade sheet and say, whoa, that's not a good one, guys.
Dude, we could have gotten paid some.
It's just unnecessary.
Upside zero, downside devastating.
So what's the floor looking like? Is it imploding now? The fact that we just got the breaking news that they're a bunch of racists.
I got it from Nate Rivers.
Nate Rivers tweeted it out.
Yes.
That's really interesting. Well, so in terms of selling, this would be a good time to sell. Just saying that. We got
one of the best times to sell is
as racist FUD news comes out, literally. So someone said, tell racists to hire him. No, we didn't. It's people who we don't know if they're racist, but you can hire us to let us know if your traits are racist. So we're protection money. That's what we're offering as a service, is to say, look,
we offer risk mitigation services.
We won't trash your project for spitting hot facts and fire about the truth around your project. We'll glance over that, and we'll ensure that it doesn't end up in a situation where it really is devastating. You know,
I would love one of the days to get like a backstory on this. Like, you know, do you think like just one of their artists is just like a huge Nazi skinhead or something, and it was just like, I'm gonna sneak this thing in. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sneak this thing, and they won't even know. Or is it completely innocent? Was some guy just like, hey, look, these are fun color straps. What should we call it? I don't know. Skinhead. I don't know what that word means, but I'm just gonna slap it on there.
Wait. So Pio, can you show us the traits? Can we zoom in and look at these? Because I want to see with mine own eyes. And that monkey pride. So is that?
Yeah, property skinhead.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Because it's close. You know, it's not even like a bald head.
Yeah, as Yusir says, it's Nicky Mook's protection money.
Was that a good use of the breaking news, by the way? Was that fun?
That was
I'd say so.
We nailed it there. So, okay, well, that's it. I think we hit times to sell was at the top, racist FUD.
Sell on the way up.
When you've lost all of your money and you want to use that for tax loss harvesting. 4 was when you don't want to see the project actually all the way through because you've gotten impatient and you like seeing things just 10x and get out of there. So floor is now 0.75 on the racist FUD. Interesting. Well,
bullish racist
factors
FUD.
are now, projects are now factoring this in as a thing to do to get a little bit more of a pump. Yeah, we'll see if it stings them or not. It's
the fly.
Cool project.
He doesn't have the hand-eye coordination to take down the fly. Micah always has the funniest comments. He said, "Did this project have a whitelist? If so, did it have a different meaning than usual?" There was one comment that I was watching back the Jungle Freaks video, and Micah wrote a comment that I pulled up on screen, but we were too busy making jokes. We didn't talk about it. He said buying Jungle Freaks because the artist was featured in Hustler is like buying an NFT project because the artist wrote Mein Kampf or whatever, like the book Hitler wrote.
I did see that comment. Wow, that was classic. So on that note, this has been the Nifty Alpha, where we're not afraid of discussing literally anything on this show, even if it's not about NFTs. We
talk a lot about buying today. We talked about selling. Both ends of the NFT equation.
This has been real. We hope you have a great day.
Subscribe.
Hop into that Discord and join the whitelist, the nifty.com/Discord. We're near max capacity. When we launch that, who knows? But the Discord, what is it called? Nifty Alpha. Actually, it's just called the Nifty.
Get in the Discord. Lil Baby Apes were posted in the Discord at 0.02 last night. These three bozos on screen were we were too cool to mint it. We missed out on all the gains, but make sure that you please subscribe. You got to subscribe. Come on, just subscribe. Just do it. Subscribe.
All right, y'all. Have a great day.